and welcome to another exciting episode of Can It Take a K26, the show where we take a variety of blasters and see if they can be upgraded using a K26 spring, and if not, what can they be upgraded with? I am your host, Captain Xavier, and today, by popular vote, we're going to be taking a look at some of the Howitzer 40mm shell blasters, starting with the Howitzer M203 model. Now, the M203 here functions very similar to an M203 in real life. It opens up this way for loading, and then you prime it by pulling back on it. It's really quite a creative system. I like it. The release is on this side. It is definitely more right-handed than left-handed, but it can be used left-handed easily enough. The stock is removable. It is actually a proper buffer tube stock, but if you want to take it off, it easily comes off. Looks like the grip also easily comes off, which is cool because I definitely plan to undersling this on something. Give it a nice paint job, minimize it as much as possible, strap it to something. Will be fabulous. Now, for testing purposes today, I will be using a single mega shell. They typically come with a triple full length, or you could put half length in them, but I need to be able to fire a single dart in order to get good chrono numbers, so we are going to be using the single mega that I was sent by Talanax Armory when they sent me this version of the Howitzer, which is very nice. This one apparently has K17 in it, and I have ordered K17 for these other two variants, but it hasn't arrived, and that's not the point of this video. We know it will take K17. I want to see what else it will take. So we're going to get the stock performance, get the chrono numbers, get you your fips, take it to the range, maybe plink a few times, see how well it performs, and then we'll come back here and see what we can do with it. So, to the chronograph. Right, let's load it up and see how it do. 65. It's actually considerably better than I was expecting. Train. 59. Not bad, especially for Mega. And 67. That I mean, by itself, that will do for single Mega. But we would like more, because what I really want to fire out of this thing is Mega XL, and that's going to need a little bit more chutzpah. So now that train's coming in, we're going to take it to the range and plink with it. I don't expect too much accuracy out of regular Mega, but we go and take a look anyway. Right, we're here in the indoor range. We've got a round loaded. See if I can hit anything at all. It's got way more power than I was expecting. Also, turns out you can, in fact, muzzle load Mega, which is nice. It's got all the accuracy of Mega, unfortunately. Oh, that one's a little bit tighter. This one might perform better or worse. We're gonna find out. Oh, worse. Anyway, see what we can do with this. Right, well, the performance was actually better than I was expecting, so let's see what we can do with it. First thing we'll do is take the stock off and get this thing open. All right, we're in, and this thing is very simple. There is a trigger and a catch, nothing fancy there. It actually seems very well reinforced and fairly stout. My first big concern with this blaster was that it's a cheap blaster, it's going to be cheap plastic. I was worried that the internals wouldn't be able to hold up, but I am considerably less worried about that now. Looking at the way they've got everything reinforced, you could obviously increase the strength of the catch spring very easily. The priming handle is fairly stout. There's a couple of places where I wouldn't want to put too heavy of a part. I mean, this priming rod is not going anywhere. One place that's a little questionable is the notch here, which is what the priming rod is pushing against, but again, that feels like a remarkably solid plastic. And if it did break, it wouldn't be hard to add something, maybe. beefy plunger tube, and that is actually going to be the issue. K26 is just definitely not going to fit. Hypothetically, no, I don't think you could, even if you wanted to get clever, there wouldn't be anywhere that would actually be able to hold the weight of it. So we need a big spring, which is obviously why they went with K17, which I had never even heard of before this. Interesting. It does have an extractor. I see. Okay, that's how the catch works. Alright. 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 I dig it. Well, yeah, K26 is out. K25 is going to be out. We're going to have to look at things like old long shot springs. Let's get the spring bin out here. Those are all smaller ones. We're going to have to go to the big spring bin. What have I got? Well, I got some flimsy ones that would probably fit. That's not a spring. That is a soldering iron. Hold on. What does this do? How did this get here? This one definitely gets enough compression. And it's definitely going to fit. Oh, it'll fit inside this one, maybe. Right, well, wherever that was, I got it in there. So we're now going to try buttoning it up and seeing if it will prime. I got the shell back together. I'm going to put the rest of the screws in, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Notion.
Yeah, all right. All right, well, it catches. So, we should be good. Let's go check the new numbers. All right, let's see if doubling up that spring did anything for us. We were hitting in the high 50s, mid 60s. 82. Yes. Yes, that is a distinct improvement. 85. 86. Yeah, right. That'll do. You know what? I'm gonna try a Mega XL. They do fit. They're a little bit trickier to get in, but they will fit. Will it shoot? No. That one was apparently too tight. Tested it earlier and it was able to, so. Oh, I don't think that one's gonna. 57. And that was only partially muzzle loaded rather than going all the way in. 58. It's consistent. And it will fire. Probably just need to leave them in the shell for a while. Let's go check on the range, see what it's done there. Alright. See if we can hit a target. Oh! Definitely got a lot more zip to it. That extra 20 FPS is more than you might think. Oh, we got a screamer! Nice. They are technically all whistle darts. Oh, that one dropped. Let's try that Mega XL, see if I can get it to fire fully loaded. Not well. Let's try one only partially loaded. See, that's perfectly good. Interesting. So if I muzzle load so it's flush with it rather than trying to put it all the way down, it fires just fine. So what I might need is a shell that's flared the other direction rather than being rounded here, make it flare out so it's easier to muzzle load. That would then probably work really well. All right. Let's talk about it. Right, well that was no for K26 because of an inordinately large plunger rod. However, I was able to find a spring that I could double it up with and was able to get it into the mid-80s. I am pleased with the results. I'm sure it will fire multi-shot much better now, having roughly 33% more power, a third more power. That's nothing to sniff at. Not too bad. So let's take a look at the next one after these messages. All of the K26 for this series was donated by Out of Darts. Check him out at outofdarts.com for all your Nerf modding needs. Our next contestant is, of course, the M203's big brother, the M32. This one is also still a pump-action Springer, but it is, of course, a 6-shot revolver. There's a release on the side, pops open there, and load in 6 shells, close it up, pump action. From what I understand, it has the exact same plunger tube, though I'm kind of curious to see how it works. Plunger tube's got to be in here somewhere, so yeah. Anyway, it also has the exact same removable stock if you didn't want the stock, or if you wanted to put a different buffer tube stock on there. It's got that. It's got Picatinny rail. It's got sling mounts. It's actually pretty groovy. We're gonna get you some stock numbers up front. We're again gonna be shooting singled Mega. This one you cannot fire the Mega XL in easily. You could, but you would have to prime the blaster, then open it, and load a shell into the chamber that is ready to fire, and then it would be able to chamber it, because otherwise I'm pretty sure it's going to be too long and it's not going to fit. Maybe, let me grab it. Yeah, it's just a little bit too long. You could cut down your Mega XL, but I would not be willing to do that just to be able to use this. I would more likely use this for either Mega or shotguns. But we're gonna we're gonna go get you those stock numbers. So let's get us some FIPS. Right, let's get some FIPS. I've got a Mega Dart loaded in there. Let's see what we get. We get nothing. What happened? Are we not getting a seal anymore? Is this thing not firing? What is the boggle? I thought it used to work. Loaded in chamber 6. No! It does not like that shell at all. Let's try a different shell. Right, I've put one of the shells that came with it, loaded with elite darts in there. And fired that well enough. Try the Mega again. That time we got 46. We just, I don't know. I think it's getting a good enough seal. Does seem to be a bit more of a gap. Being a revolver, I wonder if we're just not getting as good a seal on this one. Let's take it to the range, see what kind of performance it's getting out there. Swamp Cat has murdered a rodent, as is her wont and her right. The target has turned itself off, but I don't care. I don't think I'm gonna get anything. So I've got 3-round loaded in there, the stock, and then I've got a Mega, and we'll see how it do. Not very good. And Mega, yeah, I'm getting like 15, 20 feet. Definitely needs some work. Luckily, that's what we're here for. So, let's see if this thing can take an upgrade. Right, I'm back. You wouldn't know this, but since I filmed that last segment, it's actually been about a week. I got a haircut and went all the way to Austin, Texas and back. There was cake. It was lovely. Anyway, let's get this thing over and see if it can take a K26. Stock comes off, grip comes out. I gotta say, I was expecting this to be a lot more difficult to get into, but this back section comes right off. You don't have to take apart the front section at all. It does seem a little different. It definitely has a much larger, longer, heavier spring, but perhaps a shorter plunger tube than the previous one. And I don't think... Yeah, it definitely kind of feels like it's not getting a good enough seal on the back of those 3D printed cylinders. Maybe I don't know, maybe a really thin layer of foam, or just making the base a little bit taller to get it to seal a little bit better? Question mark. Anyway, we got a big beefy spring and a spring post, and I've got some K26 here. And it will fit. You know what, to be cheeky, I'm gonna go straight to doubling it up. Why not? So we've got the stock spring and hey, behave yourself. Stop it. Apparently it really wants that spring post was necessary. See if we can get it to stay in there. There we go. All right, I'm gonna give that a try. All right, it's in. I'm gonna button it up after a word from our sponsor.
Informative.
That's what you think. Now. It primes. Oh, and it sounds angry. Let's see if it behaves any better now. To the chronograph. Train. Right. We're going to see if it will fire a mega round. I'm going to try holding the cylinder closer. 45. That does not seem very impressive. Oh, nope, too far. No, stop it. Here's a regular shell. Says 58. I have a feeling there is something systemically wrong here. Okay, I'm just yeah. We're gonna take it to the range, or to the range. Train. Now that train. All right, we're here on the range. See if we get any better performance here. Kinda doubt it. But let's see what happens. Yeah. The regular shell works a little bit better, but still not working anywhere near as we would like. Not sure what's up with that. I think I just got a bad seal. I'll have to tinker with the seal at some point. But it can take a K26, which is what the question was, so let's talk about it. Right, so that is not only a yes for K26, but a yes for K26 nested inside the stock spring, which does make for a very heavy and rather unpleasant prime. I would probably go with something just K26, or something a little bit lighter, just for ease of use. And I'm not getting a good performance boost. I'm not getting good performance in general. I think it's because we're not getting a good enough seal between the plunger head and the back of the cylinder, the back of the shells, which could be a result of just a bad design. It could be that the printed shells are just a little bit smaller on the back and aren't getting pressed up against it well enough. Could be a number of things. I will probably tinker with that because I'd really like this to be at least a little bit more functional. And we will see what comes of that. Yeah, let's recap. All right, for those of you just tuning in or who just skipped to the end to see the results, that was a no for the M203 Howitzer, but yes to a decent spring upgrade, and that was a yes for the M32 Howitzer. In fact, it was K26 and the stock spring, but not getting good performance with this. I think it's a seal issue. This one I got good performance with. We got about a 33% increase in power from 60s to 80s. And that's actually quite good for Mega, which is what it was firing. It also fires Mega XL decently, though I think a better shell design is in order for this one. I will probably reach out to Talon X Armory and give them my suggestions for a different Mega XL shell. Rather than having it be a shell that you eject and reuse, I would rather just muzzle load Mega XL on this one, and I would have a different shell design for that would make it easier to muzzle load. All the other kind of ammo types, Mega and those, I would go with ejectable shells. But that's what I like to see for that. Wouldn't work for this one unless you cut down your Mega XLs, and you definitely need to figure out that seal issue, because you're going to need every ounce of power to be able to fire those Mega XLs, especially out of this long of a barrel. I mean, I don't think barrel drag is the primary issue. I think it's a bad seal, but we will see with tinkering in the future. But this is what y'all asked for, and that's what you got. Stay tuned for more mods on probably both of these at some point in the future. Now, there is not going to be a survey for the next episode, because the next episode is going to be a special episode. I mentioned there would be a couple of those, and March is going to be the first special episode, so stay tuned for that. And after that one, there will be a survey, so you guys can choose what I will go with next. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching.